Tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
We cannot live in a world where children do not come home from school at the end of the day.
Students at The Rock rallying for stricter gun laws following the Uvalde school shooting. How they're encouraging their peers to take action.
Are we really here? Are we really, have we really made it this far?
Plus, we talk with students from Northwestern's prison education program about their accomplishments and what comes next.
And finally, meet the club helping to bring dogs and cats together. These pups are hoping Wildcats will help them find their forever home. It's those stories and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news right now. Hello and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Julia Richardson.
And I'm Andrew Rowe, and we start tonight with calls on campus for tighter gun laws.
We're the lockdown generation. We know what this is like.
About a dozen students gathering at The Rock this morning at a rally honoring the 21 victims of the Uvalde mass shooting. Rally organizers say they're hoping to get Northwestern students invested in making real change.
Jose Flores Jr., 10.
Tass Marie Mata, 10.
Emotional moments as sophomore Lily Cohen and Marabella Johnson read the names of the victims murdered last week when a gunman opened fire in Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas.
Mix of emotions, all pretty negative, but also a little bit appalled at how normalized it has become and how numb a lot of us are to news like this.
The rally was organized by Northwestern's chapter of Students Demand Action, a national advocacy group working to prevent gun violence.
We cannot live in a world where children do not come home from school at the end of the day.
The small group gathering here says simply honoring the victims isn't enough to tackle the issue of gun violence.
But at the end of the day, we have to start somewhere, right?
Sophomore Jake Mazarski says he lost friends in the 2017 school shooting at Parkland's Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School.
We always say, thoughts and prayers. That was me before it happened to my friends.
Today, he's encouraging his peers to take action. Rally leaders put QR codes on the ground linking to information about how to contact elected representatives.
We can't just demand change, we have to be it ourselves.
Last week, a bipartisan group of senators met in Washington to discuss gun reform, but students here say they're wary about whether this time will be any different.
It's really difficult, but you can't do anything if you don't even try.
The students say supporting candidates who support gun reform in the fall's midterm election is key.
We're talking about lives here, and lives are on the line, and that should never have been politicized or been such a divisive topic.
Students honoring other students by demanding action.
Gun violence affects all of us, and it will take all of us to solve.
Rally organizers say while turnout was lower than expected, they're hoping they'll be able to make change through the action items on their social media pages.
Evanston American Legion Post 42 reminded the community yesterday that Memorial Day is more than just a long weekend. The Legion held a ceremony Monday in downtown Evanston's Fountain Square to honor the lives of military personnel that gave the ultimate sacrifice to protect the country. Kathleen Alonzo's uncle, brother, and grandfathers served in World War II.
It really is important to recognize who these people were and what their stories are, and just take time to remember that they're just people who chose a particular path, and I think that's important to honor.
The Legion is planning a Flag Day event on Tuesday, June 14th.
Students are remembering first-year Daniel Perlman. The 18-year-old integrated science program student was a student pilot on a flight when his plane crashed Thursday, according to the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office. Authorities say Perlman reported engine troubles to air traffic control. On campus, Daniel was communications chair of Northwestern's Aviation Club and lived in Willard Residential College. On Instagram, Northwestern Chabad wrote that he was an active community builder, known to all for always bringing forth a positive energy and a good cheer. If you are in need of support, Northwestern encourages students to reach out to Counseling and Psychological Services or the Dean of Students office directly.
Evanston City Council once again finds itself looking for a city manager despite naming one last week. Ann Arbor Assistant City Administrator John Fournier told the city he won't be taking the job after both sides couldn't reach a final agreement on his employment contract, the city said. In a letter obtained by Evanston Roundtable from Fournier to Mayor Daniel Biss, Fournier says he asked for his contract to be restructured to allow for assistance on a house down payment. The city said it responded with an offer that Fournier declined. It's the second time in 4 months that a candidate has walked away from an offer. The city says it will continue working with its recruitment firm on the search process.
COVID cases on campus are the highest they've been so far this quarter for undergraduate students. There were 393 new positives last week. That's a positivity rate of 7.61%. It comes after thousands headed to the Lakeville a little over a week ago for the annual Dillo Day Music Festival. In a statement to NNN, a university spokesperson said they expected increases after large gatherings like Dillo, but said their approach to COVID-19 is now guided by hospitalization and severe case data. The university also said it strongly recommends indoor mask wearing in areas where distancing is not possible. Now, some students quarantining in the Hinman dorm tell NNN they have been receiving roommates.
Students who go to bed in the 560 Lincoln Street Resident Hall tonight will wake up in Shapiro Hall tomorrow. The university says they're renaming the 5-year-old building in honor of outgoing President Morty Shapiro and his wife Mimi as a tribute to their support of students. The signage installation will take place later this week.
Coming up, a look at last year's city investigation into sexual misconduct claims from Evanston's beach workers. Have the tides started to change?
And a look at one Chicago neighborhood's tasty celebration helping local businesses. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Seasonal staff is hired every summer to ensure safety on Evanston's public beaches, but the safety of female beach workers has been allegedly overlooked. NNN's Hannah Jiang joins us at the beach. Hannah?
Julia, the once appealing summer job turned out to be a worrying experience for many female beach workers. I talked to a former beach staff who came forward with the allegations and Mayor Daniel Biss about the city's new commitment to change. More than 50 female beach employees signed a petition in 2020 alleging sexual harassment and sexual assault by their fellow staff members on the Evanston lakefront, calling it a boys' club.
I mean, ever since I started working there, I just kind of was witness to like this sexist attitude.
Anna Frederick started as a gate attendant in 2017 at the age of 17. In 2019, Frederick said a male worker frequently made inappropriate comments toward her and her co-workers.
You know, I would check the schedule before coming in to see like, oh gosh, I'm working with him again.
Frederick said the former recreation manager Ray Donor contacted her and some other female workers to ask questions about that particular male worker's behavior in 2019. 2 years after the allegations, the city asked a law firm, Salvatore Prescott Porter & Porter, or SPPP, to conduct an investigation. The investigative report published in February revealed that the Evanston Human Resources Department told Donor in 2019 that there was little they could do because the harassment happened off campus, which means after hours or not on the city's property. And the Parks and Recreation Department should look into it themselves. Donor told SPPP that he had no training to do such investigations. Donor met with the male worker and gave him verbal warning. The male worker was hired back the next season.
Displayed the message that, you know, our concerns don't matter, like our safety at work doesn't matter.
That was the tipping point for Frederick. Along with 3 other girls, Frederick drafted a petition demanding an apology and policy changes from the city of Evanston. They received anecdotes from over 40 other female workers who said they experienced sexual misconduct, including alleged sexual assault.
Just was so much worse than we even thought.
According to the SPVP report, the city staff met with the women in 2020 and implemented some changes demanded by the petition, including mandatory sexual harassment training. But the report found the city never conducted a formal internal investigation. Frederick said another individual accused by some women in the petition was rehired in the summer of 2021. That was when Frederick contacted news outlet WBEZ.
Deny, deflect responsibility, undermine us. And I was like, nah. I'm like, no, not again.
After the news broke, the city asked SPPP law firm to conduct an investigation. The report found systemic issues in lakefront management, including lack of supervision from one overburdened manager, little to no human resources training. The report listed 9 recommended actions for the city.
We should not view the recommendations from the investigators as a checklist that once we check every box, the problem is solved.
In early May, the City Council approved a new full-time human resources manager position dedicated to the Parks and Recreation Department. Mayor Bez said a data tracking system to record employee complaints is being implemented,
so that we don't have to rely on memory and guesswork.
Long due changes to the lakefront management. All eyes are on the city if it will ensure a safe beach for all workers going forward. Hannah Jiang, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Hannah.
Turning downtown now, after the fatal shooting of a 16-year-old earlier this month, Mayor Lori Lightfoot instituted 2 new curfews, a 6 p.m. curfew at Millennium Park Thursday through Sunday for unaccompanied youth under 16, and a citywide curfew at 10 p.m. for youth 17 and under. NNN's Vanessa Kelson tells us more.
A curfew isn't new for Chicago. For 30 years, kids 16 and younger had to be off the streets by 11 p.m. Now in Millennium Park on weekends, it starts at 6 p.m.
It's not a curfew on kids. It's not a prohibition on kids, as I've heard some say. It is a policy.
But curfews haven't always been successful. One study finds curfews had no impact on crime. Another finds a curfew actually increased gun violence.
People are less likely to commit crimes when there are more eyes on the streets.
The ACLU of Illinois says these curfews aren't the solution to Chicago's violence problem.
The best way to solve that problem is to make people's neighborhoods have safe places with safe programming.
Tio Hardiman says while youth programming is important, he still supports the curfew.
A lot of young people that were downtown, they're not interested in going to no activities.
He's a South Side native and CEO of Violence Interrupters, a nonprofit for gang and crime mitigation and mediation. He says the curfew is one of the best solutions for now.
I support the ACLU. I just want to make that clear. But you have people that would like to make decisions from like a distance, but they don't understand what's really going on ground zero.
Just about 3 hours ago, curfew began for Chicago's youth. Upon approaching Millennium Park, you'll notice the entire perimeter has been outlined in metal fences, as well as some of the interior. To be able to get into the park, my bag was checked, as well as I was wanded. A notable increase in police presence is also here.
When people talk about the curfew might disproportionately impact or affect African-American youth, the thing is this, man, come up with a better solution, seriously, because the people downtown are suffering, the people in the neighborhoods are suffering.
Vanessa is here in the studio with us now. Vanessa, are there any exceptions to the curfew?
Yeah, there are a couple exceptions. For example, youth attending ticketed events like Lollapalooza. Other exceptions include youth exercising their First Amendment rights, going to or from work, being involved in emergency, or running errands for a parent or guardian.
Vanessa, thanks so much.
20 incarcerated students are making history as the first in the country to be enrolled in a bachelor's program at a top 10 university. I caught up with some of the students and faculty involved in Northwestern's prison education program.
I am greater than my worst mistake.
For formerly incarcerated students like Maria Garza, Northwestern's prison education program, or MPEP, has been life-changing.
Are we really here? Are we really, have we really made it this far?
For some, it is the first time they have felt acknowledged as people and not just as inmates.
Once they start coming in and willing to talk to us and hug us, I said, man, I got to do right because of this.
MPEP began in 2018 under the direction of Northwestern professor Jennifer Lackey. The program's first cohort graduated with associate's degrees from Oakton Community College in April and will be enrolled in bachelor's programs at Northwestern.
I was just in that classroom 70-something days ago. I was just there.
After more than 19 years, Corzell Cole walked out of prison 28 years early with the legal help of Northwestern faculty. He zooms into classes with the rest of his cohort who still remain at Stateville Correctional Center.
We got good guys in prison that, if given an opportunity, they would do very well.
Hollins, Cole, and Garza are part of a minority of MPEP students who walk free. Families of those still inside join them for a celebration on Northwestern's campus.
Really excited for my brother. I look forward to him obtaining that bachelor's degree and his release very soon.
But it is not only the students and their families who benefit.
It has reinvigorated my love for teaching.
And the students now hope to make their own impact.
Everyone's entitled to redemption.
A program making history and changing lives. While Northwestern is not the first elite institution to offer incarcerated students credit towards degrees, it is the first elite institution in the country to directly confer its degrees to these students.
After 157 years, Lincoln College in Illinois closed its doors. The school cited a cyber attack that blocked data the college uses to project its academic and economic future. NNN's Megan Leibowitz talked with experts to learn about the cyber threats facing universities and what can be done to stop it.
The threat can be invisible, but the FBI says it's there and it's waiting.
It's really not a question of if you're going to get hacked or if your data will be stolen, but really when.
In 2021 alone, the FBI recorded $6.9 billion lost by victims of cybercrime. For research institutions like Northwestern, the threat can come in forms like ransomware attacks. That's when hackers lock your data and demand money for its return.
One of the biggest concerns I have with ransomware is it's vastly underreported.
Eric Schiffman says alerting the FBI to ransomware attacks is vital.
We may have some keys that can help you decrypt that. You can defeat it.
But there are ways students can do their parts to secure their cyberspace too. Use multi-factor authentication for logins, keep your operating systems updated, and make sure your passwords are sophisticated and kept private.
If you ask any one of these notorious hackers, what is the easiest way to get someone's password? They probably all will tell you, ask for it.
Keep your data safe today so you don't pay the price tomorrow. Megan Leibowitz, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Megan, for that story and for all of your stories over the years.
Make sure you save room for dessert after lunch tomorrow. The Office of the Provost is inviting all students to stop by food trucks for sweet treats. Be sure to take a screenshot of the graphic on your screen, and from 2 to 4 p.m., 5 trucks will give out ice cream, mini pancakes, cupcakes, gelato, and churros from locations across campus. The treats are free while supplies last.
Chicago's Economic Strategies Development Corporation brought back its signature event, Mole de Mayo, over the weekend in Pilsen. NNN's Liz Caslow got a taste of the festivities.
Smells, sounds, and a street packed with people. The Mole de Mayo Festival returned to Pilsen after a 3-year hiatus due to the pandemic.
What I've heard from the restaurants and from the vendors is that they're eager to come and participate.
What started as a festival with 4 restaurants and 1 mariachi has ballooned to upwards of 24 restaurants, 40 musical acts, and guests from all over the city.
Just an hour and a half outside of Evanston, over 100,000 people flock each year to 18th Street for the festival.
The event's main attraction, the mole. Marcelita Hernandez and her daughter run Ibolinas Tamales. They say the business has won multiple Best Mole accolades over the years for its mole.
This is a big dinner, okay?
And the business has a history with ESDC.
We helped her out to get her business license.
ESDC is based in Pilsen and helps small businesses grow through grants, trainings, help with navigating paperwork, and events in the neighborhood. Food entrepreneurs weren't the only ones to have stands at the festival. The Pena sisters have an earring business, Clay Chicas, and this was their first time at Mole de Mayo. For the businesses and attendees, Mole de Mayo is about more than just good shopping and good eats.
I just think this is bringing a sense of community to people.
From 18th Street, Liz Cassillo, Northwestern News Network.
ESDC is also planning a restaurant tour and art walks around Pilsen in the coming months. You can find more information on their website. Coming up, Northwestern students were greeted by these friendly faces in front of Deering Library this past weekend. We'll tell you how Wildcats are helping Evanston's dog. Julia?
Evanston is gearing up for its long-awaited summer. Find out if we are going to continue to get beach weather right after the break.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Welcome back. For the first time since 2007, the Northwestern softball team is headed to the Women's College World Series. The number 9 seeded Wildcats came back from a 5-run deficit to beat Arizona State on Sunday 8-6, knocking out the Sun Devils in the NCAA Super Regional round. Northwestern's ace, Danielle Williams, dominated the 3-game series, throwing over 400 pitches and starting all 3 games. It's Northwestern's 3rd appearance in the Women's College World Series under head coach Kate Drohan, who had only good things to say about her star pitcher after the game.
She trusts in the game, and she trusts in her preparation, but man, is she a warrior. She pitched her heart out tonight. I thought Michelle called a great game, but she's an all.
The Wildcats will take on number 1 seeded Oklahoma in the first round of the double elimination tournament on Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Central.
All Paws in NU, the student group that brings Northwestern students to volunteer at Evanston's Animal Shelter, hosted the university's first foster fair this past Saturday. The goal? To find foster or adoptive homes for the 8 puppies born at the animal shelter just over 2 months ago. You're going to want to come to your screen and look at this. NU community members lined up to greet the dogs, getting a chance to meet and play with them.
I wanted to make sure that this is an event that was beneficial to the shelter at the end of the day and beneficial to dogs. Because I think sometimes when there's therapy dogs on campus, I mean, that's for the students. And as wonderful as that is, like, I wanted this to be a fundraiser and I wanted this to be a good experience for the puppies.
The group says they raised over $1,700 for the shelter and hope they can bring more dogs next year.
Julia Narvaez Munguia brings us this week's forecast. Julia?
Thanks, Julia. I know I have enjoyed this warm weather, but it is Evanston and it is constantly changing. Tomorrow and Thursdays brings out chillier weather with highs of 66 and a 67 accompanied by light wind. But we are seeing sunny skies with virtually no chance of rain. Some good news despite the colder weather. We will be seeing the sun all week, so I'll be sure to bring out the sunscreen. As for this weekend, we'll warm up again to the mid-70s with a high of 75 on Friday. However, there is a slight chance of rain on Saturday as a high drops down to the 60s. We see rising temperatures on Sunday with a high of 71. While the work week is not so fun, I think I'll be taking a study break this week on the beach during my last week on campus. That's this week's weather. Now let's get back to the desk.
Thanks, Julia. After the break, we'll take you to the next town over, but it might feel like a trip around the world. Stay tuned to see how Skokie is celebrating their community's cultures.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cat!
Welcome back. Argentine cartoonist Liniers has illustrations featured in over 11 publications. He visited Northwestern this week to share his comics with the community. Liniers discussed his background and inspiration behind his artwork as students discovered the crossover between art and protest. Liniers said he sees art as a form of resistance and a way to resist bad things that happen.
I was very bad at sports. So you stay back, you stay in class when everybody's going to play soccer or whatever, and you go like, and then you start drawing and become like antisocial.
You can see the full story by Maria Heim on our Instagram.
Come inside to the village of Skokie, and you will find visitors traveling around the world in a matter of minutes. But what makes this suburb so special?
50, 60 different cultures here in Skokie. There's over close to 100 languages that are spoken in the homes of the children who attend all the schools here in Skokie. And it's just it's the most diverse, ethnically and culturally diverse suburb in the North Shore.
Mike Reed is in charge of organizing the Skokie Festival of Cultures. The festival aims to showcase the different countries represented in the village by setting up a booth to interact with over its 30,000 visitors, affectionately known as travelers.
We actually have an invitation from one of our communities here. So we work together with the community, and then we also contact the Indonesian Consulate General in Chicago, and then we work together and we put together this booth.
Reed says he's been planning for the festival over the last 9 months.
There is a committee that is made up of the people from the different cultures, and they all get together and decide how they want to do things.
Booth representative Chrisia Dai says educating others about her country instills a sense of pride in her. Year after year, these Skokie residents celebrate their different cultures together. Julia Narvaez-Mengia, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Julia. That's all the time we have for tonight. I'm Julia Richardson.
And I'm Andrew Rowan. We'll see you in the fall.